Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365, and today I'm going to review the final chapter in the Fox X-Men franchise, Dark Phoenix. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I put out videos daily. You can also find me over Twitter and Instagram at Movie Guy 365. So, we've finally come to the end. It is the end of the Fox ran studio versions of Marvel's X-Men. And, you know, I have some thoughts. Now, it's kind of easy to hate on this movie because it's like, who really cares at this point? You know, they're just getting rebooted in a few years down the line anyway. But, you know, we have kind of been attached to the Fox X-Men title, or, you know, the movies for quite some time. Some have been good, some have not been so good. It's just, you know, it's kind of a weird thing. And there's also, like, the, you know, the typical power play of, you know, Kinberg himself, who has served as writer and producer. And, you know, it's funny watching a lot of his stuff, you know, when you're talking about his, you know, what he's written, like things like The Last Stand and so forth, I kind of get the feeling that he sees the X-Men more as like a ticket to like bigger, better things for himself. I don't think he approaches this necessarily as an X-Men fan. And ultimately, I feel that's what really hurts the movie. You know, the only reason it's even watchable is because of the cast. Look, I've also been not a huge fan of the way they've kind of made Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique the hero, overall hero of these stories. She's a villain in the comics. You know, she was a villain in the first trilogy. To suddenly make her like, oh, you know, now, you know, the world kind of revolves around her a bit. I've always, and considering, you know, and I know you're going to say, well, what about Hugh Jackman? They made it around Wolverine. First off, Wolverine was a more popular character anyway than Mystique ever was. And second, Hugh Jackman seemed to embrace the role. Jennifer Lawrence just looking for the quickest exit. Every movie she's done the blue makeup less and less. And this one is practically non-existent. It's really a couple scenes here and there, you know, but, and if you look back at Apocalypse, like that was laughably how like, oh, she just, any excuse to get out of the blue makeup is just like a thing. So for me, that I take that into consideration when I'm watching these movies. I like Jennifer Lawrence as an actress. I've seen her in many things I've enjoyed her in. I just always felt like she had her eye on the door in these movies, and why they continue to revolve around her, I never understood. Anyway, but so, you know, as I said, it's not a terribly, you know, when you have something like Dark Phoenix, which I would say arguably, you know, for X-Men fans is a lot like, you know, how popular certain storylines were in other branches of the Marvel Universe. Infinity Gauntlet, you know, those kind of things, you know, the Kree Skrull War, those big storylines. And then you have something like Dark Phoenix, which is, you know, next to Days of Future Past, I feel like two of the biggest storylines in Marvel Comics and X-Men franchise. And while I would say that Days of Future Past was, I would say, a very good film, especially if you get a chance to check out the road cut. This one felt more like, you know, like, I don't know, just a budgetary version of that story, and not even a good way to tell it. As I said, the actors and actresses all in this movie I feel were really, really good, with maybe one or two exceptions I'll touch on in a moment. But it just felt very low budget and small in scale. The Phoenix Force, for crying out loud. I'm like, this is like one of the biggest, you know, powers in the Marvel Universe. And to kind of get it relegated to, oh, it's just, you know, occasional like flare-up. It's very disappointing, you know, when the powers are kind of unleashed, they're not even really unleashed that well. As I said, you know, this movie is not the best. It really isn't, but it's not, like, I didn't feel like I wasted my time. It's like, okay, you know, I'm sitting through this, let's get it done. And as I mentioned, the thing that saves it are the actors and actresses. I would say the action pieces are really nice for the most part, and a couple you've seen in the trailers. But the overall story and how, you know, you take certain beats from this story and blow it up to a grander scale, I think would have been so much better. I don't know if we'll ever get to see that aspect in the Marvel Universe itself when that transfers over. But to go out like this, you know, a bit disappointing, I'm going to say. It felt very slow, or not slow, but it felt very small. And, you know, ultimately it was kind of a disappointing film. That being said, you know, it's kind of like the end of an era. And go out this way, I mean, I know maybe we might get New Mutants in the theater. Who knows what's happening with that one. But this is like the end of the core X-Men franchise, and it just kind of petered out. that's really the best way I could say it. We're hoping for bigger things. Maybe I'll touch on a video one day, just kind of do a retrospect on the X-Men films and the Fox franchise. But in the meantime, it's over. It's over. So should you go see it? I would say if you want to just kill 2 hours and you don't feel like you're going to get too upset on how they're going to handle this saga, then sure, go see it. But if you think that you're expecting some big story, you're definitely not getting it. And, that's a shame. So let me know in the comments below if you plan to see Dark Phoenix. And in the meantime, like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I put out videos every single day. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.